Hey guys, it's Ebony from TinyTexasGarden, and tonight's topic is potatoes. So, these are sweet potatoes. Usually when you grow sweet potatoes, you don't put the entire potato into the ground or cut them up like you typically do with white potatoes. Most people will advise you to grow them from slips. And slips are basically when you stick a potato, either a whole potato or you can cut it in half and put the half of potato into a glass, and usually you'd toothpick it or something so that it's standing out of the water. And then you let the vines grow. And then when they get a few inches tall, you'll put these vines into water and let them start to grow their own roots. And so then you would take this, once it's got some roots, and you'd plant that, and that's what they call a slip. For example, this one, it already has its own root system here. You see that? And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plant this into some dirt because it's not quite warm enough or guaranteed to stay warm here yet in Texas Zone 8A. So I'm actually going to just go ahead and pot this up just like a little plant. And it didn't get... All right, so I'm just going to fill this up with some potting soil. And plant these roots. And then in a little bit I'll water it in real good. And this will basically just stay in my house growing like a little starter plant until it gets warm enough to move outside. Sweet potatoes actually need a long growing season. I think it's 150 days of warmish weather for the sweet potatoes to actually grow and be ready to eat. And so I'm going to take these off. You see him? He's kind of cute. Stick these in some water, and I probably will find them some better jars. I think I'm going to let this keep growing. He's still kind of little, so we'll probably let him keep growing. This one too. I might do another video to update the status of those, but we'll see. Last year I was too late trying to get sweet potatoes going, so I never really got them going. But look at that, my little sweet potato pot. So we'll let these get some roots and then they'll get a pot. But for now, we at least have one going, so yay. This is just your average white potato. And you see it's already started budding out. And so what they usually say to do or recommend is to cut them up into smaller pieces with a couple of eyes on each piece. And an eye just means those little spots where a sprout could grow. Like you see that little, let's see, like this little nub, you see he's already growing. You see this over here, it's a little one. It hasn't started actually budding out much, but those things. So, and they say you should cut them up, let this open spot scab over, and then plant the potato. So I'm gonna cut these up into a couple of pieces. I actually did this already earlier this year, a couple weeks ago, but then for one, I think I cut the pieces too small, but also because we had our snowpocalypse, crazy 100-year record-breaking freeze in Texas. I think they just sat too long before I could plant them, so they didn't look good. So I'm not even gonna bother. Same type of thing. And no, obviously this is not a seed potato. Seed potatoes, the kind you grow or you buy specifically to grow, they usually come much smaller, more like this, just a couple inches long or wide. This is just my average potato that I bought to cook and just didn't get to. And so now it's growing, and I'm gonna stick it in the ground and see if it grows. Some people say no, they won't work because they have growing, or what do they call it? I can't think of what they call it right now, but basically it's that sometimes they will spray the kind that go in the store so they don't sprout. But clearly it's sprouting. So some kind of anti-sprout hormone either didn't get on this potato or it's not very effective, because these are definitely sprouting. And so we're gonna plant them and see what happens. You see, sprouts everywhere. And I'm gonna do one more. I think I'm going to end up potting these into pots for a couple of reasons. One, because of space. I don't have a lot of in-ground space to just leave for potatoes, or that I would then want to dig up later and risk ruining the roots of other things while I'm digging and pulling up potatoes. And also because I think it's going to be easier for me to harvest the potatoes by just dumping a large pot over, as opposed to digging through the soil. Okay, I'm going to show y'all one more thing, and it is not traditional, so you have to promise not to laugh at me, but I did this. So this is also a plain old Idaho white potato, and most people will not tell you to grow slips for white potatoes, but I did this just as an experiment to see, because I am using regular potatoes, not special seed potatoes. And I tried this last year and it failed miserably. My potatoes just rotted in the pots. I don't know if I watered them too much or what, but I kind of just wanted to see and prove to myself that this bag of potatoes would and could actually sprout, and not just sprout a little, because I had people tell me, well, they may sprout a little, but they won't grow because of the hormone or whatever they say that they put on the sprout inhibitors, right? And so I just wanted to see if this bag of potatoes would actually sprout. So I stuck it in a jar. And can you see all of the roots and all of the sprouts that are on this potato? Yeah, it is growing. Sprout hormone, no sprout hormone, either way it's growing. I mean, this is a good 4 inches tall, and it has roots all the way down to the bottom. As a matter of fact, it has grown so heartily that I can't even easily pull it out of the jar. So I didn't think about that. It's apparently swollen, and those roots it's so full in here, so I'm probably gonna have to cut it out of here. But what I am gonna do with this is I'm gonna cut it out of here, and I'm going to plant these, I guess you'd call them, I don't know if we still call them slips like we do sweet potatoes, or starters, whatever you wanna call it. We have baby potato plants. So I'm gonna get these out of here. I'm gonna put them into some little pots as well. And then when the weather is a little bit warmer and we have less chance of a frost, I'm gonna plant them outside. So hopefully we will get not only sweet potatoes this year, but good old French fry potatoes as well. So this is not normal, but it worked for me. We'll see how the plants do. Thanks, guys. You guys have a good night. I wasn't gonna show this, but decided to show it anyway. So I dug out the inside of the potato just so that I could squeeze it to pull it out of the jar, because it had gotten so swollen in there. And now really, all I'm gonna do is see if I can separate these roots and hopefully not kill the plant in the meantime. I might end up just leaving some of these. Here's one, but he's a itty bitty. He's a itty bitty. I don't know how well he's gonna fare. And this one, you see this one, he was squished up against the side. Can you see him right here? he was squished up against the side of the jar. Ew. The potato is just, okay. Y'all see that? It's like mushy. It doesn't stink, thank goodness, but it smells like soil, actually. Okay, what do y'all think? Should I just plant this whole thing? Look, there's even another little individual sprout growing, and he was good in the water. Can you even see that? See that there? He's a whole nother little sprout with roots. I thought I was going to just kind of pluck this off and maybe even make this 3 individual plants. But now I can't decide if I should do that or just sit this whole thing in the ground or in a pot until I can stick it in the ground. I think I'm gonna leave this one, make this one giant one. This was another little sprout that came off of that potato. I'm gonna let it scab over before I plant it. What do y'all think? Look at that. You think that's gonna rot? I think it's just gonna rot. But people plant whole potatoes. Decisions, decisions. Oh yeah, there's lots of little individual sprouts coming. Well, these will obviously get their own individual spot because I was able to pull them off easily. What if? Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pull it apart. Problem is that the roots are literally growing in the potato in certain spots. I'm just gonna do it. Do it. Because I don't want this to rot. And so I'm gonna pull this off of here. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, oh, it is in here good. It does not want to come off. But I don't want this whole potato to just rot. Even though it would probably still do good because it's already got so many roots. Oh, there's still so many different spots that the potato's trying to grow another plant from. And what was interesting when I was cutting into this potato, there were certain spots of the potato that were really, really hard. Okay, he doesn't want to come off of there. So maybe, you see how there's still like a lot more spots that are still growing their own individual sprouts and roots? Maybe we put him back in the water. See what else comes of it. I'm gonna get a bigger jar for him. Maybe we swap these out for now. Okay, into it. Oh, y'all can't see that. I'm gonna put him into a bigger jar for now. I put our sweet potato slips in the jar that this potato was in. This is probably gonna get real gross real fast now. We'll see. We'll leave it there till it starts, if it starts smelling, then it's gotta go. But this, I'm going to plant just like it is, even with that little piece of raw potato. And hope for the best. I think it's gonna make it. What do you think? Let me know in the comments if you think it's gonna make it if I put it in this dirt, or if you think I should let it scab over. Bye guys.